house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this speech a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
What's up?
With us on the ones and twos is Bam.
Yo.
Episode 216, March Madness is here. This is our March Madness bracket breakdown. We're going to do exactly what we've done the last few years. We're going to give you our brackets, our main number one bracket, give you what we deem as your best path to winning your bracket challenge. And then after that, we will give you all of our best bets for day one and day two of the greatest sporting event that our country has to offer. We have made it, ladies and gentlemen. 64 teams, 63 games, 3 weeks of madness, buzzer beaters, Cinderellas, backdoor covers, you name it, it's here. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. I think my track record is proven since we've started this podcast when it comes to college basketball. First year, we hit the futures bet and won our bracket challenge with Baylor, 100-plus man bracket challenge. Second year, my wife won the bracket challenge. I would say that I had something to do with that in some way, shape, or form. And then the last 2 years, I've come in second place. So, yeah, I think my track record is proven. We've picked the winner 3 out of the last 4 years. And I'm not putting you on the spot, I truly don't remember. What's the closest you've gotten in the last 4 years? I know you've been in the mix each year, so it's not.
Yeah, I always have some squirrely ones, you know.
Yeah, didn't you?
I had a UConn bracket, so I guess that would be the closest.
You did something crazy one year before we started the podcast.
It wasn't that crazy.
Didn't you have 2 of the same team?
Yeah, it was 2 of the best teams. It was Duke with Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett.
But then didn't you have an LSU bracket too?
Yeah, they were fucking good that year. They fired the coach. They suspended Will Wade for the tournament like a bunch of idiots.
No, that was
and then they fired
move.
him, which was
was
even dumber than that.
Dumbest move we've ever made, without a doubt. Now Will Wade's got McNeese back in the dance again. I'm excited. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. It's the best sporting event that we have to offer in this country. There's nothing. This is the best point, too, right now. The excitement that it's just around the corner. You've got first 4 games in play as we speak. Fast forward a week from now, and the best part of the tournament's going to be behind us. We're still going to have, obviously, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 and all of that. But this right now, this moment as we speak, is the best. It's the anticipation of what's coming. 16 games on Thursday, 16 games on Friday. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I also was like reminiscing. Well, one, I had a picture pop up from 2014, senior year of high school, sitting in IBCA listening to Chance the Rapper on the old school Dell computer with like 6 brackets in front of me. And it was like, it just brought me back. But exactly a year ago, it's like I didn't even know what we were like getting ourselves into. We just had the baby. And so we were, 3 weeks in? I'm in such a better place now. Like, I've been saying this, like the start of like all the football seasons and all of that. Like I keep trying to like get to this spot of like comfortability. And I've kind of just accepted and come to terms with the fact that like something pops up every time. Like I had my grandpa, we moved, we got married, we had the baby. It's like there's always going to be something. So I've come to terms with like you just kind of got to adapt. But this is like the most, like the baby sleeps 12 hours a night. We don't have to worry about that. It's the most comfortable I've been in a while. So I'm fucking ready to go. I feel good. I know the teams up and down, which means nothing and when it comes to March Madness, but I feel good in terms of this tournament. So we'll start with just a couple tips and things I deem important, and then we're just going to go, I would say, what do you think? We go quadrant by quadrant or just down the list? I think it would be easier to keep it grouped up by like Southeast, West, and Midwest. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that works.
Okay. So when you're filling out your bracket and you're trying to win the bracket challenge, and all that, everybody wants to pick upsets because it's March Madness and there's always upsets. But there's not as many as you're probably thinking that there really is. So I went back as far as 21. Post-COVID, I don't really care before COVID. But so since 2021, everybody loves the 12-5 upset. Since 2021, you had one, Oregon State over Tennessee. 2022, you had two, New Mexico State over UConn and Richmond over Iowa. 2023, you didn't have any. 2024, you had two, Grand Canyon over St. Mary's and James Madison over Wisconsin. So if you're looking at your bracket and you've got 3 12 over 5s or all of them, I saw some people saying that's crazy and it's probably not going to happen. Also popular over the last few years was the 13 over the 4. 2021, you had two, Ohio over Virginia and North Texas over Purdue. We picked both of those.
Yeah, North Texas.
Yeah, and I had Ohio. Yeah, you had North Texas, I had Ohio because they had Jason something. He was the LaMelo Ball clone. 2022, there were none. 2023, there was one, Furman over Virginia. Joseph called that one on this podcast. 2024, there was one, Yale over Auburn. You nearly got Samson over Kansas. So same thing. If you have a lot of 13 over 4s, good luck, but it doesn't happen a ton. And then 14 over 3. You had one in 21, Abilene Christian over Texas, none in 22, none in 23, and then last year we had Oakland over Kentucky. So again, tread lightly. If you have a bracket full of upsets, it's just not going to happen. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think this year more than any, we might see a very chalky bracket. I think this bracket is very top heavy. I think the better teams, you can attribute it to NIL. For example, take Texas Tech. JT Toppin was on New Mexico last year. He was their best player. Now he's on Texas Tech. He's their best player. So all these teams with money go and take all the good players. So all the better teams and the bigger schools have all the best players. Take Michigan for another example. You got Danny Wolf, the 7-footer. He was on Yale last year when they upset Auburn. So it's going to become a lot more increasingly difficult for the smaller schools to contend. Doesn't mean there's not going to be upsets. There's always going to be. But this year, I think we may see a lot of the lower seeded schools advance or higher seed, whatever you want to what's the correct terminology there? The better schools are going to win. Bam, you're only as good as your first bracket. You said you did 2. What's your first one? Just go ahead and tell us the winner.
Auburn,
just because I want to know. That's really all I need from you. All right, let's start. Oh, other thing, too. A lot of people, I was looking at, the Final Four from the last 4 years. There's been an 11 seed in 2 out of the last 4. And then 2023 was an anomaly. You had a 5 seed, a 9 seed, a 5 seed, and a 4 seed. UConn was the 4. They won, obviously. Year before that, in 2022, you had a 2 seed, 8 seed, 1 seed, and a 2 seed. So pretty much every year in recent memory, you have one of those higher seeded teams squeak into the Final Four. I have a team that I think it could be. I don't have it on my bracket because I wasn't man enough to do it. But last year, you had an 11 seed at NC State. The year before that, you had a 9 seed with FAU, 2 5 seeds. The year before that, you had an 8 seed. Year before that, you had an 11 seed. So in years past, we've seen a team from the play-in game go deep, UCLA, NC State last year, and then one of those 8 and 9 matchups, because those 8 and 9 teams are good, and they have to play a 1, but if you beat the 1, obviously it's downhill from there. So it's something to consider. I'm not ever man enough to do it. I'm interested if you are, because you'll do some crazy shit, but that can be the trick. If you can call that extra Final Four team that nobody else has, you have a leg up on everybody. So we'll start with the South. I don't know what the most efficient way of doing this is, but I have Auburn winning. Do you have Auburn getting upset?
Not in round 1, no.
Okay, we'll give everybody a little fucking spoiler. The 8-9 matchup, and this is the game that we're starting the tournament with, is Louisville and Creighton. Who are you going with?
Louisville.
I took Louisville as well. I don't think Louisville should be an 8 seed I don't think Louisville should be an 8 seed. I think it's kind of ridiculous when they stacked up the recent. I think their numbers. What are they in the AP? They're like they're top 10 in the AP poll. Why are they an 8 seed?
Yeah.
So they stacked up previous teams in their position. They were like no higher than a 3 seed. So they clearly had no respect for the ACC. But I have Louisville over Creighton. I think, and we've kind of agreed on this in years past, the formula, if you're doing multiple brackets, you should keep your 8 and 9s consistent and just get them right. Hope you get them right, you know? Isn't that kind of what we've talked about that a few times?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. So I think Louisville's an extremely good team. Chucky Hepburn has, I've been saying it. If you've been following along with my plays of the day on the YouTube page, I've been giving out at least one best bet for college basketball. I've spoken very highly about Chucky Hepburn and Louisville. Chucky Hepburn would probably be the ACC Player of the Year if Cooper Flagg didn't exist. So, granted, Con Knipple would have more opportunity to shoot the ball, but he's very good. They're just not deep. So I don't know that they're going to make a run, and I don't think they have the depth to go. That's one of those teams I would consider. If you're going to see an 8 and 9 make it to the Final Four or something like that, or go on a run, Louisville's certainly one of them. You can make an argument that Creighton's one too. I was very high on Creighton last year, but they're without Trey Alexander and a guy that can really go get you a bucket whenever they have a big guy to match up with Kalkbrenner and things like that. Ashworth's not going to be able to get it done for you. He's just not. But Louisville really only plays 7 guys, so that's worrisome. But yeah, so I have Louisville there. A popular 12-5 upset, probably the most popular, is UC San Diego over Michigan. Are you taking it?
No.
Me neither. I'm taking Michigan. UC San Diego has not played one Power 5 school all year. Not one. They played a couple, I think, Mountain West teams. I think they might have beat San Diego State. But no Power 5 schools. Now you're going to go up against a Michigan team that's got 2 7-footers. They just won the Big Ten. I'm not high on Michigan either. I don't love Michigan. I don't think they're that great. I just don't know that UC San Diego is going to have anybody to answer for Golden and Wolf down low. So I'm not picking the upset there. 13 over 4, Texas A&M and Yale. Are you picking the upset there?
No.
Neither am I. You got a good look at Yale in the Ivy League. I don't think that I just don't think. I think this is going to be another one where people remember last year where they beat Auburn. They lost, obviously, Danny Wolf. They lost players from that team. A&M's got an incredible defense, and the way they relentlessly attack the boards, I don't think that this is going to be your upset either. So this is not one that I'm taking. Doesn't sound like you are. So we both have A&M advancing there. Ole Miss, and then San Diego State, UNC, the outcome of the play-in game, which is in play as we speak. North Carolina's up 5. Well, we'll see how that goes. For the record, I am on North Carolina, minus 3.5. I have North Carolina winning this game because I'm expecting North Carolina to win the play-in game. Knock on wood. Who do you have advancing in this one?
Yeah, North Carolina.
Okay. Okay. Well, we got the same bracket. Iowa State and Lipscomb. Upset here?
No.
No, I don't think so either. Keyshawn Gilbert is out. Take that for what it's worth. Keyshawn Gilbert is one of the better players, arguably the best defender on Iowa State. He's out with a muscle strain, and he's not going to play at all. So, but I don't think, with that being said, Lipscomb's not going to, I'd be shocked. Marquette, New Mexico. I would not call a 10-7 an upset, but this is a game. The spread indicates it's very close. Which way are you leaning in this one?
Yeah, this is one I'm kind of undecided on right now.
Uh-huh.
I think initially I lean Marquette, but.
So I'm taking New Mexico. So I've tried to, in years past, I feel like I didn't do a good enough job differentiating my betting side versus my picking a bracket side. I do think you got to have them separate. Marquette's 3.5 point favorites. And I understand what you're thinking. It's like, okay, if you have them advancing in your bracket, why wouldn't you take them getting the points? This Marquette team, when on, is good enough, but they lack size. They lack consistent shooting. Cam Jones gets way too passive. I've been on this Marquette team a million times this year. I know them very well. New Mexico has one of the best guards in the country in Donovan Dent. Shoots at 41% from the three-point line, averages 20 a game, but then they have Nelly Jr. Joseph, 6'10 senior, down low, second leading scorer, 14 points a game, over 11 rebounds. If you have size, you can bother Marquette. You can get rebounds on this team. They don't have anybody down low that is dominant. Ben Gold is not dominant down in the post. He's just not. They have enough size down low. You got Mustafa Amzil, 7'9 senior as well. They have guys that have been here for a while. I think, and this is a Patino. and this is the year of the Patinos. So you got Rick Pitino's son, Richard Pitino. I'm going to take New Mexico here. I didn't have either one of them win in the next round, so that's another thing to consider too. If you're going to pick, and this wouldn't be considered an upset, but those teams, if you don't have them win in the next round, it's not a detriment, but it is something to take into account because we got second place last year by 1 fucking point, so it does matter. But so you're on the fence.
Yeah. I mean, look, New Mexico has some nice wins. They beat UCLA.
So are you telling us that your bracket is not filled out?
This is the only game I'm up in the air about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it matters, but it doesn't because we're not there yet. But I have Michigan State beating them in the next round.
Yeah, Marquette's not playing great. Well, one, I had a futures bet on Marquette. I had the opportunity to get out of it. I got out of it because I saw too many things that I knew they're not going to win the national championship. And there's a couple teams that are good enough to win a couple games and could also get bounced in the first round that I've narrowed down, and Marquette is certainly one of them. If they're having an off night shooting the ball, they play great defense, don't get me wrong. But when you've got a guy that can score at this high of a clip and you've got – I like when they have guys that put in production scoring from the front court as well as, like, they're not just rebounders. They give you good points down there as well. They give you – what's his name gives you 14 points. I don't think – I've said it a million times this year that it's size. It's when you have size down low. That's what gives Marquette trouble. And I kind of overlooked Zuby Ejiofor in the last game somehow. He ate him up. He had like fucking – I think he shot like 65% from the floor. Let me look it up. St. John's killed him. He had 33 points on 11 of 15 shooting. Zuby Ejiofor 6'9".
Yeah.
But he plays big body down low. They don't have any answer for that.
Yeah.
You've got two guys that size or bigger and longer on New Mexico. So I think the matchup is not spectacular for Marquette. So I'm going New Mexico. Which one are you taking?
Marquette.
Okay. Really sold you on that one.
I can't just keep.
All right, Auburn, Louisville. You got Louisville winning.
You
gave it away.
Yeah, we both have Michigan State, Auburn, Louisville. I have Auburn winning.
Okay, Michigan, A&M.
A&M.
I have A&M winning again as well. So you're going to get a rematch. You're going to get an SEC matchup between Auburn and A&M if it goes the way I'm thinking, and a game in which A&M just won like 2 weeks ago. So the hypothetical North Carolina versus Iowa State.
I have Iowa State.
I have North Carolina. I will change this. Judging by the play-in game, if they don't get in, again, they're up 9. This is a team of destiny. I have North Carolina. If they get in there, I think that they're going to beat an injured Iowa State. And then we both have Michigan State. So now as it sits with the Sweet 16 for the South region, we have Auburn versus A&M, North Carolina versus Michigan State. First game, Auburn, A&M. Who do you have winning?
Auburn.
I have Auburn as well. North Carolina, Michigan State. You have?
I have Iowa State, Michigan State. I have Michigan State.
Me as well. So we both have Auburn and Michigan State going to the Elite Eight. Who do you have winning?
Michigan State.
Wow, with the upset, huh? I'm going Auburn. I got Auburn getting to the Final Four. Why do you think? Well, yeah, you got them to fucking win the whole thing. Ben was dying. He's like, yeah, me too. We know, bud. You got them fucking winning. I think there's going to be, which I wouldn't call yours an overreaction. You got him getting to the Elite Eight. I think we're going to see a lot of people overreact from the 3 out of 4 losses from Auburn. Make no mistake. I said it time and time again. This was a two-horse race for a long time between Duke and Auburn, and Auburn has shown chinks in the armor. But Auburn has arguably the player of the year in Janai Broome, who you can feed down in the low post, and he's very good around the rim. And then you add in Denver Jones, who shoots like 40+% from the three-point line and is probably the best on-ball defender in the country. You've got Chad Baker-Mazara, who also shoots it very well from the three-point line. He's like 6'7", very long, can guard every position. You've got Pettiford. You've got Kelly. You've got 4 to 5 guys that are legitimate three-point threats. You've got Cardwell, whatever the fuck his last name is, down low, who's arguably the best rim protector in the country. They are Duke, just not as disciplined and a little more fucking backyard fucking basketball, whereas Baker Mazara, every single game is going to smack somebody in the face. Every game. You can be over under 0.5 guys punched in the head by Baker Mazara. The over hits every fucking game. So, and that's a problem. That's a liability going forward. You don't have to worry about Con Knippel doing it as blatantly. The Duke has those guys. They got the Grayson Allens that'll kick you in the nuts and then be like, I didn't do anything. Con Knippel has that look to him. But so make no mistake, this Auburn team is fucking the real deal, and people are going to overreact. With that being said, I have them beating Michigan State to go to the Final Four, but Michigan State, dude, Tom Izzo is a wizard. He gets it's very popular for people to kind of shit on Tom Izzo and call him overrated and this and that. He hasn't won in a long time. But this dude is always competitive, and he has taken teams that are less talented than this one, and he's always in the mix, or he's making a run. He was in the Final Four, in 2018, 19, something like that? This team is good. If Jace Richardson, the tournament's about players, I've said it forever. That's why we were talking about it the other night. I had Buddy Hield with Oklahoma. I'm a dreamer. I thought Buddy Hield was going to fucking put the Sooners on his back. They made it to the Final Four. Jace Richardson's really fucking good. He could do that. He's going to be a lottery pick. I love Cohen Carr. I've been talking about him. I don't know how much you've watched Michigan State, but when that guy jumps, it's like everybody's like it's like breathtaking how high that dude can jump. And then what they're able to do on the defensive side of the ball, it's been proven. They can squeeze teams to death. So that would be a crazy matchup. That would be a stylistic, it's weird because Michigan State will kind of push the ball too, but they want to slow you down and defend you in the half court. But they can get out and run. So that would be a very interesting game. I hope we get to see it. So you've got Michigan State in the Final Four. I've got Auburn. Correct? We'll go to the West. We'll go down. I got Florida over Norfolk State. You as well?
Yeah.
The 8-9, which are going to be the biggest, could go either way. UConn and Oklahoma. Which way are you going?
Connecticut.
I'm going Oklahoma. And I was on the fence on this one. I don't have either one of them beating Florida. I can see... This is just the year that there's been so much weakness shown from this UConn team and really just inconsistencies and turning the ball over. This Oklahoma team started out 13-0, and then they hit conference play. And we were talking about this. I hold the SEC into a higher regard, I guess, than you are. I think the SEC is head and shoulders the superior conference this year, and that's not debatable. But I think like Oklahoma didn't do great in conference play. You look at what they did in the non-con. They beat Arizona. They beat Louisville. They beat Michigan. Then they hit conference play, and shit went south a little bit. But so they have quality non-conference wins. I just think this, with everything we've seen, UConn's either going to win this game and then beat Florida, and it's like Dan Hurley's going to flex again, or they're going to go out in the first round. And I just think there's too much weakness here with this UConn team, too much inconsistency. And I think this Oklahoma's good. I think this team's good. I think conference play with the best SEC conference we've seen ever just really did them in. So, but Porter Moser's a good coach, and they have talent on that team. So I'm going to go Oklahoma. What's the Ken Palm prediction?
1 point, I think.
Is it?
A 1 point win for Connecticut.
Okay. So that's down to the wire, and that would
5.5 point spread.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking spoiler alert, I'm taking Oklahoma on the spread. Okay. That was one of my first. No, that was one of my day one bets or day two bets. 12-5, Colorado State, Memphis. Which way are you going?
Colorado State.
I am as well, and it's not an upset because they're favored on the betting spread. Money has come in on Memphis. It looks like Tyrese Hunter is not going to play, judging by the line. But with the money coming back in, I wanted to see, did they give out an update? Like, is he going to play? If he's out, that's a problem, and I think he is. That's why the line is where it's at. But we saw firsthand how fucking good Nick Clifford, or whatever the fuck his name is, for Colorado State is when we were at Loft 18. That's the kid. He went off for like 40 points. This dude's one of the best scorers in the country.
Yeah.
They play good defense. They They shoot it very well from the outside. This Memphis team is very inconsistent. So yeah, I'm taking Colorado State here, and there's probably going to be a 12-5 upset. The betting odds will tell you that this is going to be the one. So doesn't always go that way. Doesn't mean it's a lock or anything like that. But yeah, we're both in agreement. Colorado State. Maryland, Grand Canyon. Who you got?
Maryland.
I have Maryland as well. Grand Canyon's going to be another popular upset pick. We saw them last year go toe-to-toe. I think they won a couple games, and then they played Alabama in that crazy breakneck speed game that was down to the wire. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Maryland's they're too good at the guard position. They play very good defense, and they have size down low with Pee Wee Reese and Derek Queen. So I think they outmatch Grand Canyon, who's not good on offense. They just want to run like crazy, but Maryland's down to run too. They want to push the tempo as well. They'll feel right at home. So that's not the upset that I see happening either. We go to the 11-6, Drake and Missouri. Who you got?
Drake.
I'm going Missouri. I think Drake's going to also be a popular pick. I'm almost going the opposite way. I'm almost leaning towards 11 over 6 isn't much of an upset these days either. But this falls back on, I think, the SEC superior. Why do you like Drake? Do you have anything specific?
I mean, I'm betting on him, so I can give it now or
you
just
can give
wait.
it later. That's fine. We'll do it when we go to the bets. Okay, so you're going Drake. I'm going Mizzou. Texas Tech, UNC Wilmington. Who you got?
Texas Tech.
I was going to say that would be a huge slap in my face. I'm taking Texas Tech as well. Obviously, I have them 35-1 to win the championship. Gave it out weeks ago, probably over a month ago. At one point, it went down to 23-1. It went back up. I told you, I think they got a favorable draw. I don't hate the draw. Kansas and Arkansas, 10-7. Star power coaches, Bill Self, Calipari, first year at Arkansas. Who are you going with?
Kansas.
I'm going Kansas as well. I like Arkansas, though. Do not get me wrong. I think this is going to be a close game. They're getting Boogie Flan back. I don't know exactly how that's going to go. He hasn't played in a while. He's a very good player. But now you're asking somebody to kind of jump back into the lineup very late in the season where it's do or die. I don't know that it could work. Might not. This Kansas team's talented. They have a lot of issues on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, they're very good. I think this is going to be a down-to-the-wire type game. I think Kansas has the veteran guys to pull it out late. But the matchup of Ivisic and Hunter Dickinson is going to be must-see TV. And I think Ivisic could give Hunter Dickinson some problems here because Hunter Dickinson's kind of a bitch. The 2-15, St. John's and Omaha. Calling the upset?
No, St. John's.
Yeah, St. John's as well. I agree. I love this St. John's team. I don't love them enough to pick them to win anything meaningful, but they're just fun. Like, watching them win the Big East in the Garden with Pitino, and he's saying, when did you know this team was special? He's like, about 10 minutes ago. Like, Pitino's awesome. Basketball's better with Pitino in it. And this team is, like, it's a bunch of, like, misfits, it looks like. A bunch of guys that can't shoot for shit, just play really hard and fucking smother you to death. All right. Florida, Oklahoma, you have UConn. Do you have either one of them?
No, I have Florida.
I have Florida as well. Colorado State and Maryland.
I'm going Colorado State.
I am as well. I like this fucking Clifford kid. Yeah. I watched him cook Boise State, and I can't get him out of my fucking brain. They shoot it very, very well. Yeah, I think Colorado State might be that team that makes a little bit of a run here. You have Drake. I have Missouri taking on Texas Tech. You have Tech winning?
Yes.
Okay, I do as well. Kansas and St. John's.
St. John's.
I have St. John's as well. So Florida versus Colorado State.
I have Florida.
I do as well. Texas Tech, St. John's.
Texas Tech.
I have it as well. We're going to be right down to the fucking we're going to be
we have
razor
a lot of
thin.
Different first rounds.
I mean, if we'll see what the Final Four is looking like, but you have Michigan State. So Florida, Texas Tech. Who do you have winning?
Florida.
I got Texas Tech. The fucking Red Raiders going to the Final Four. No, this Florida team's fucking playing the best basketball right now. You can make an argument they're the best team in the country as it currently sits. It's remarkable. It was like since that Alabama game, they just proved that they will beat you up on the fucking boards. They have a lot of guys that will go get the loose ball, and you pair that with they have a St. John's. They have a bunch of guys that play St. John's style of basketball, just paired with a bunch of guys that can shoot the shit out of the ball. So, and bigs, they really are arguably the perfect constructed team to win. It's just like they came out of nowhere, and I don't have a Florida bracket. I couldn't bring myself to do it, but I'm worried if I'm making a mistake there. So you got Florida getting to the Final Four. I've got Texas Tech. We'll go up to the East. We're all going to have Duke, Mississippi State, Baylor.
Baylor.
I'm going Baylor as well. And this is another one. This is one. These 8-9 matchups can make or break your bracket. Like I said, I got second place by 1 point last year. If I would have got, I also, too, take it with a grain of salt because I lose the fucking first game every single year. Every year since we've done this, I've lost that first 8-9 matchup. I'm going Baylor for the sake of, I think they have more talent. Hubbard from Mississippi State's fantastic, and he's the entire offense, though. You've got Edgecombe for Baylor. You've just got multiple guys. Omier down low. You've got multiple guys that can have a good night. They just don't fucking defend the perimeter. They're lackadaisical on defense, but I don't know that Mississippi State has the offense. So I am going to take Baylor in here as well. Oregon, Liberty, another 12-5.
Oregon.
I'm going Oregon as well, and I'm probably going to take Oregon on the spread. Liberty's so reliant on the three-point shot. Oregon with Altman, they typically win a game or two in the month of March, and I think they have the size down low with Biddle, but then the guards with Shellstad and Bamba. I've seen Oregon quite a few times in these last few weeks, and they're playing pretty good basketball right now. So Arizona and Akron.
I have Arizona.
I do as well.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do here yet. What's the spread on this?
I want to say it was double digits. Let's see. Arizona and Akron, 13.5 points, at least on ESPN. So obviously, give or take.
Yeah, I don't know.
North Carolina's beating the dog shit out of San Diego State. It's not. There's 6 minutes to go in the first half. They're up fucking 20. You know, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. There was a lot of geniuses out there that fucking fuck you. North Carolina might win the national championship.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just go with Arizona here.
Yeah, so Akron wants to run. They don't have a ton of size. They want to run like crazy. Arizona's right at home running, and they have size down low. Caleb Love, you know what you're getting. They're not going to win a national championship or anything, but I don't see them getting upset by Akron. Would I be shocked if Caleb Love goes out and shoots fucking 8 for 24 and then they lose? I guess not, but I don't see it. So I'm going Arizona as well. A very good matchup here. BYU versus VCU. We've seen BYU quite a few times the last few weeks. Bam, BYU, only winner that you've ever given out on this show for college basketball.
Mm-hmm. They're going to win this game handsomely.
Handsomely. Which way are you going?
Yeah, this is I think this is probably the toughest game to decide in the first round.
Yeah.
Usually I'll do my first rounds all the same.
Mm-hmm.
This one might be one to alternate, but I got BYU in the first one.
I have BYU as well. They shoot the ball really fucking well. VCU guards the perimeter very well, though. But the difference here with this BYU team is the way they rebound the ball. That dude they have that they always talk about that he played volleyball, Keita, is arguably the best athlete in college basketball. I tweeted out the all-athlete team. That dude was on it. He's a freak. So if they're going to go rebound the misses, I don't know that VCU's got the – it's going to be a close game, and the spread indicates that. But I think BYU is going to edge it out here. BYU's going to be a team to watch next year too, because he's not the number one overall recruit anymore, but Basta, whatever, he's like number 2 or 3 now, but he's going to BYU. So they're going to be a team to keep an eye on for the next few years. So we all got BYU going. Wisconsin and Montana.
Wisconsin.
I have Wisconsin as well. I think they win handily. St. Mary's and Vanderbilt.
I'm going St. Mary's.
I'm going Vanderbilt. Same thing. So yeah, you think SEC is going to shit the bed in this first round?
Yeah.
St. Mary's? Come on.
I like St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, they just lost to Gonzaga and scored in the 50s.
Well, they beat Gonzaga
not
two
when,
times.
Yeah, but not when it mattered most.
Okay.
I don't know. I think this Vanderbilt team's shown that they can score the ball. And I just think the SEC is superior. So it could come back to bite me. Obviously, St. Mary's has been a mainstay for quite some time. The last few years, they're always in the mix. They're one of the better teams. They're second best team in their conference typically every year. But yeah, I think I didn't have either one win in the next round, but I think Vanderbilt gets the best of them here. Alabama, Robert Morris.
Alabama.
Yeah, I got him as well. I have him winning the next round as well. You too?
Yeah.
BYU, Wisconsin.
BYU.
Really? Didn't you just say you were on the fence with this one? You got to win it twice?
Yeah, that's why it's such a hard one to
I got
pick.
Wisconsin winning. This Wisconsin team's fucking good. That dude Tanji is a stud. This is a very good Wisconsin offense. They still play quality defense under Greg Gard, but yeah, I'm going Wisconsin in this one. I think I just think, dude, Tanji's really, really fucking good. So Oregon, Arizona.
I'm going Oregon.
I'm going Oregon as well. Dana Altman in March. The Ducks normally get to the second weekend, it feels like, and this Arizona team has flaws. I've been low on this Arizona team. I just don't think they're going to lose to Akron. Duke and Baylor.
Duke.
Okay, you pause there for a second and say if you pick Baylor, you're fucking crazy. Duke and Oregon. Duke again?
Yep.
I've got Wisconsin versus Alabama. You've got BYU versus Bama. Who you got winning?
Alabama.
I've got Wisconsin beating Alabama. And I've got a rematch of the national championship in 2015-ish of Duke and Wisconsin to go to the Final Four. So you've got Duke versus Bama. Who you got winning?
Duke.
I've got Duke beating Wisconsin. So we both have Duke in the Final Four. So as it currently stands, you have Michigan State, Florida, and Duke in the Final Four. I have Auburn, Texas Tech, and Duke with the Midwest remaining. We're all going to have Houston, Gonzaga, and Georgia. Who are you going with?
Gonzaga.
I'm going Gonzaga as well. I couldn't go all SEC. This wasn't a blind thing here. The key for me here is Ike down low is very fucking good. He's been there for a couple years now. For Georgia, they've got a quality big man as well, but Newell's a freshman. So I think you're going to see Ike have the leg up here in terms of experience. And, I mean, he averages 17 a game. Newell's good, but he's a freshman down low, inexperienced. They have where Gonzaga's been around the block for a while now at key positions, point guard, and then their leading scorer. And then I just think the inexperience is going to be the reason that Georgia doesn't get it done here. So I'm going to take Gonzaga as well. Clemson and McNeese, are you going to go back to Will Wade?
No. That was a fucking nightmare, dude.
That was the easiest bet of my tournament. Yeah.
I don't even care if they win. Like, I'd much rather lose betting against them. I mean, picking against them than having a even.
I was very disappointed with the draw because I was looking for. This is their second year now, so they got the experience last year. They turned right back around. They still have that dude Shoemate, who's an incredible defender, can't shoot free throws. He was the 30% free throw shooter I think we were talking about. I wanted to back Will Wade and McNeese, but I don't think that Clemson's the spot. And I think a lot of people that listen to this show are going to want to take Will Wade and McNeese. And I don't want to talk you off the ledge if it ends up happening, but I just don't see it. This Clemson team was good last year. They returned a lot of production. They have a great point guard. They got Shefflin down low. I just think that they're going to be poised where McNeese is going to try to crank up the energy and force you into turnovers. I don't think Clemson's going to give it to him. So I just don't like the matchup. I was really hoping for a spot where I could take McNeese, and I think McNeese may be a popular pick for a lot of people. Will Wade, the storyline's there. Will Wade's an alum of Clemson. I just don't see it. So I can't do it. I'm going to go Clemson. Purdue and High Point.
Purdue.
Give me High Point, dude.
He loves High Point.
I bet them one time, but let me tell you why. Purdue is one of those teams, and listen to me closely here, because High Point is going to win this fucking game, okay? Purdue, would you agree that this has been a down year for Purdue?
Yeah.
22-11. It's a down year for the Big Ten as a whole. The leading scorer for Purdue is Trey Kaufman-Renn, 20 points a game. Let me introduce you to a guy by the name of Joslin Bodo. 7 feet tall, defensive player of the year in his conference, moves like he's a 6'9" athlete. Guess who's going to be guarding Trey Kaufman-Renn? Joslin Bodo. I'm telling you right now. But it's not just that. When you look at this High Point team, they're surrounded by a bunch of guards that can shoot the three. You've got 39% from Damarian Williams. You've got Bobby Pettiford, who comes off the bench shooting 42%. Chase Johnson shoots 43%. You have athletes down low with size. Joslin Bodo, 7 feet tall. He's got a name that they're going to want to market. And if they get to that second game, or God willing, the second weekend, all you're going to hear is Bodo. I'm telling you right now. They have the guards and the experience that can shoot from the outside, and a guy that's going to guard the leading scorer for Purdue. And now you have a bunch of guards, a bunch of pussy fucking guards with Purdue. And Braden Smith's great. I'm not referring to him. I'm referring to that fucking, what's his name? Foster. That should tell you all you need to know. No, sorry, Fletcher, even worse. Fletcher Lawyer. He shoots at 46% from the three-point line. I've never seen him make one. It's incredible. So this is just a team that I think they're soft. Painter's a good coach, sure. He got to ride the back of fucking Zach Edey for years. I don't think this Purdue team is great. I think this is a downslide for Purdue basketball over the next few years in the wake of Zach Edey. High Point's going to win this fucking game, and it's going to be thanks to Joslin Bodo.
Yeah, Purdue was a 4 seed when North Texas beat them.
I'm just letting you know. I'll give you the opportunity to switch it right now.
I'm not switching it.
Do you have them winning against Clemson?
No.
Might as well fucking. Okay. Nobody's going to take High Point. They shoot. I'm pretty sure they shoot free throws well. 76%. They've got all their guards are in the fucking high 80s. Dude, this has got all the makings. They average 10 turnovers a game. All the makings of an upset. All the makings. Undersized point guard in Braden Smith, who shows turnover issues. Dude, I'm telling you right now, Joslin Bodo. You want to know what he fucking averages? 1.4 blocks a game. I'm telling you. High Point over Purdue. All right, Illinois or the play-in game?
We're going Illinois.
Okay, I am as well. Although it depends on who gets in. I think Xavier's good, but I'll go Illinois. Kentucky or Troy?
Kentucky.
I'm going Kentucky as well. UCLA, Utah State.
UCLA.
I'm going UCLA as well. Tennessee, Wofford.
Tennessee.
All right, we've got Houston, Gonzaga.
Houston.
Clemson. For you, it's Purdue. For me, it's High Point.
I'm going Clemson.
I'm going Clemson as well. Illinois or Kentucky?
We're going to go Illinois here.
I'm going Kentucky in this spot. Illinois is inconsistent. Two very good offenses. It's going to be probably one of the higher scoring games in the tournament if we get to see this matchup. But this Kentucky team, I like Mark Pope. I think he's overachieved in his first year as Kentucky. I think we could see Kentucky make a bit of a run here and get to the second weekend. Health has been a problem. Jackson Robinson, who was with him at BYU, came over to Kentucky. He's been in and out of the lineup all throughout the year. This could go either way, but I'm going to lean Kentucky. UCLA, Tennessee.
UCLA.
Me too.
You know I love UCLA.
Dude, I've got them as well. Houston, Clemson.
Houston.
Yeah, I have that as well. Kentucky, UCLA.
Okay, I have Illinois, UCLA, but we're going. Going UCLA.
I have UCLA as well. Into the Elite Eight, taking on Houston.
Yep.
And you have who going?
Houston.
Me too. So the way my Final Four sits, if you've been following along, Auburn, Texas Tech, Duke, Houston. Yours is Michigan State, Florida, Duke, Houston. Between Michigan State and Florida, who do you have going to the national championship?
Florida.
Okay. I have Auburn beating Texas Tech to go to the national championship. Between Duke and Houston, who do you have going to the national championship? So you have Florida versus Duke. I have Auburn versus Duke. Who do you have winning?
Florida.
Florida. Really? Okay. I have Duke beating Auburn to win the national championship. A 1 seed versus a 1 seed. This Duke team, and I'm just going to let you know right now, I am not going out on a limb. This is nothing. Duke is going to be the far and away most picked team to win the national championship, just like UConn was last year. This Duke team is the deepest team in the country. You have Mason Gillis coming off of the bench. He was I want to say, if not a starter, he was the sixth man for Purdue, who was in the national championship last year. He's fighting for playing time on this Duke team. You have the consensus number 1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg. Con Knipple doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. This guy is always under control, very fundamentally sound, backing down to the basket. He's going off the glass, but it goes in. You've got Sion James, the Tulane transfer, running point guard. He's settled into the point guard position now. Tyrese Proctor, a guy who's been there for a long time. This is the deepest team in the country, and they have the most size. I haven't even mentioned Malawak down low, 7'2" rim protector. What they're able to do on the defensive side of the ball is going to be the reason that they win the national championship, but the way they can shoot the ball from the outside the arc as well. They're going to have an off shooting night a time or two in this tournament, but their defense is going to make up for it. Cooper Flagg is the best player in the country. I think this Duke team, it's become trendy for a lot of people to pick against Duke. I've seen a lot of the ESPN talking heads saying like Duke's not going to win and this and that. I think Duke's going to run away with this. I think it's going to be reminiscent of what we've seen from UConn the last 2 years where they covered every game. And I will be shocked if Duke gets upset by Oregon or something like that. I will be fucking shocked. I think they have everything you need. So, and like Sion James, whatever the fuck, he is running point. He's very good assist to turnover ratio. He can shoot from the outside, but dude, he's so big. Like giant. And so defending the position, it's just such a mismatch. I think they have a mismatch at nearly every position, and they're able to condense the lane and use their length to still cover the perimeter, so it's so hard to score on this team, and they're able to rebound like crazy. So, I'm taking Duke to win the national championship. You're taking Florida?
Yep.
And Bam is taking Auburn. Who do you have Auburn playing?
1 second. Florida.
Impossible.
Wait.
In the Final Four, you got them.
Hold up.
How do you not remember?
Pulling it up real quick.
All right. You're losing us. I mean, it's probably Duke.
In the Final Four, I have Auburn versus Florida, and then Auburn beating Duke.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think this year more than any is going to be a very chalky tournament. I think the top-heavy teams are going to do exactly what they're expected to do. With that being said, I think this is the best Houston team that Kelvin Sampson's ever had, and I think this is Houston has a very good chance of winning a national championship. And I was talking about this with Lindsay. I would love to go. It's in San Antonio. If they get there, or if Texas Tech gets there, I would love to go. I would consider it.
Yeah.
And I would go by myself if nobody else, but there's room in the car. I think that would be sick because, I followed this team for fucking 9 years now. Like, it's been a while. Every single year. I would love to, if they get there, I would love to see Kelvin Sampson possibly win his first national championship. So, yeah, there you go. My number one bracket is Duke. They're going to beat Auburn in the national championship. You think it's going to be Florida over Duke.
Yep.
Okay. Now we will get to the betting side of things. Starting it off with, let's see, just for the record, at halftime, we're looking at a 47-23 North Carolina lead, shoving it right up their fucking ass. Dude, there was some fucking clowns out there trying to. They're shooting 7 for 9 from the three-point line. Oh, San Diego State guards the perimeter so well. Yeah. They're shooting fucking 60% from the floor. Guess what? San Diego State shooting 25% from the three-point line. Oh, they're only shooting 26% from the floor. Shove it up your ass, you fucking losers. All right, starting it off, we always pick the first game of the tournament, Creighton and Louisville. I would imagine, judging by who you pick to win, you're going to lay the points with Louisville?
Yep.
I am as well. It does worry me. The size of Kalkbrenner down low. Who is Louisville going to throw at him?
Yeah, that's the main question, right?
But they shoot the three so well, and they do guard very well. I like Pat Kelsey. I just think that this Louisville team shouldn't be an 8 seed. I think they got a bad draw, and they're going to have to go up against the the 1 seed in Auburn next round if they win. But I think Creighton should have been around a 9 seed. So I think Louisville's a better team here. So that will be my first play of the day. It's the first game, incredible game to start the tournament off with. We're laying 2.5 points with the Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, the key thing here is Creighton, the difference from last year is they're just not as good offensively.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't shoot the 3 nearly as well. Last year they ranked 25th in 3-point shooting percentage. Where do they rank this year?
Not as good.
I think outside the top 100.
I can get it for you if you keep talking.
And another thing they don't do as well is they don't protect the basketball as well as they did last year. This year they're 246 nationally in offensive turnover rate. Last year they were inside the top 70. Louisville is a good defensive team, ranking inside the top 100 in effective field goal percentage and defensive turnover rate.
Creighton's 183rd in the nation, 3-point percentage.
So it's not like super mismatched here. Creighton's offense versus Louisville. Like you said, the biggest question here for Louisville is how are they going to defend Kalkbrenner? But I think when it comes down to it, Louisville will force Creighton into more mistakes than vice versa. Creighton's good defensively, but they don't create a lot of disruption. They don't force a lot of turnovers. They're 361st in the nation in turnover rate on defense. So,
yeah, no, that's they don't force a lot of turnovers, but they also don't commit a lot of fouls, which it's impressive the little amount of fouls that they commit. But all it takes is you attack Kalkbrenner early. He picks up 2 quick fouls. Now Creighton is scratching their head. They're going to Jason Green to try to drum up some offense here. Chucky Hepburn is incredible. I'm blanking on what's his name. The guy who's the better scorer, Edwards Jr. They just have options that they shoot a shitload of threes and they want to run fast. And I think I don't know who they're going to necessarily put on Kalkbrenner down low. I would imagine you could go zone. There's a lot of different things you could do, and you can force Creighton to beat you from the outside, which we just said they're not shooting it as well. I just think that this Louisville team is a really good team. They're just not deep enough to go deep into the tournament, but I think they will win this first round matchup. So, yeah, I'm laying 2.5 points with Louisville. My second play is going to be High Point plus 8.5. They're going to win this game. Joslin Bodo. I actually got this at 9.5 right as it opened. It quickly went down to 8, but for the show, we will go plus 8.5 with High Point. I've already gone over it, but if you're just tuning in for the bets, I'll run it back for you again. Trey Kaufman-Rinn's the leading scorer for Purdue. Purdue's in the wake of Zach Edey, I think we're going to see some down years for Purdue. I think this is one of them, 22-11. The Big Ten as a whole wasn't that spectacular as a conference. I just don't think this Purdue team's very good. I think Braden Smith's a really good player, but he's shown the ability to turn the ball over in inopportune moments. I think High Point has a lot of guards that shoot it very well from the outside. They shoot it very well from the free throw line. And Joslin Bodo is the conference defensive player of the year. He will be on Trey Kaufman-Rinn, and he's going to make his life very difficult. 7 feet tall, but when you see this dude, he's like one of those athletic 6'9" that can move very, very well. So he's got a lot of length. I think he's going to make life difficult, and they're going to have to hit threes from the outside. I don't trust him to do it. I think that High Point has the shooting to hang in this one. So we're going to take High Point plus 8.5 as the second play.
Yeah, I'm going to tail that.
Okay.
I'm not going to take High Point to upset, but definitely to cover here.
And
I'm just looking at some stats here. Purdue, it's not surprising that they lose Edey, and no, they're not very good protecting the rim, you know. They're 350th 2-point field goal percentage allowed, and their block rate is 356. This is Purdue's defense.
Yeah, and this High Point team hasn't played a ton of competition, top-end school. They beat UAB. They beat North Texas. They beat App State. So all of the better schools that they played, they beat. But look, Pettiford, I swear to God, I cannot remember where he transferred from, but I've seen Bobby Pettiford So they have experience at the guard position. He's coming off the bench, too. They've got, like I said, multiple guys over 40% from the three-point line. The recipe is there for an upset, and that's what you're trying to find when you're picking these games or betting them to cover the spread. So I'm not a believer in this Purdue team, and I haven't been all year. So I think that they have – if Bodo wasn't on the team, I probably wouldn't take this, but I think with the size and the versatility that he has, he can make life difficult for Kaufman-Renn. And I think they're going to turn this into a scrappy game. So I am taking High Point. Sounds like we're both taking High Point plus 8.5. And I've got it. You're going to be like, man, this is awesome because I won my bet. But in the back of your brain, you're going to be like, that would have been nice to pick them on the upset in the bracket and get that extra point. My third play is going to be Houston minus 28.5. I'm laying it. I have not seen official word on Juwan Roberts. I would imagine he'll be back. Whether he's back or not, I almost would make an argument that this Houston team scores more without Juwan Roberts because they don't play through him down low in the post. I'm not saying they're better without him, but they want to play slow. You take Juwan Roberts out of the equation, now you've got a bunch of guys that just relentlessly attack the rim to go get rebounds or attack the glass to go get rebounds. But you have a bunch of guards that can shoot the shit out of the ball with Milos Uzan, Sharp, Cryer. Arsenault's got like a 40-something% three-point percentage. Another guy that I've never seen make a three. I truly don't think I've seen Terrence Arsenault make a single three-point shot, but his percentage is high somehow. I just think they're going to kick the shit out of this team. I really do. I don't think that they stand a chance. So
Yeah.
they might score 40 points.
What's this team called?
SIUE.
They suck.
SIUE Edwardsville Cougars.
They probably won't even get to
Right
50.
next to St. Louis.
They're going to arguably have more letters in their name than points on the board.
Yeah,
So,
they probably
in the
won't.
first half.
They won't get to 50 points.
So I just think it's a slow pace of play with Houston. I totally get it. We're very familiar with this Houston team. I think they're going to put up a big number on this team. So that'll be my third play. What'd I say? Yeah, third play of the day. How many more do you have?
Are we still on Thursday?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're going Georgia Gonzaga. Gonzaga's 5.5-point favorites. We're gonna take Gonzaga.
I am as well.
Georgia, defensively, they're good. They defend the perimeter well. They're long. Offensively, though, I question if they have enough. 291st in turnover rate, 193rd in three-point field goal percentage, and 206 in free throw percentage. Gonzaga, different than years past, they're much better defensively this year. 29th in schedule-adjusted defensive efficiency, top 15 perimeter defense, and they do a much better job this year forcing turnovers. So I like Gonzaga minus 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take them as well. I touched on it earlier when we did. So that's what I said. If you're just here for the bets and you're not here for the bracket breakdown, you didn't hear me talk about EK and the advantage that I think he's going to have over Newell. Like I said, with Gonzaga, they have a lot of veteran leadership at key positions, point guard and their leading scorer at center with EK. Newell's a very good player, but he's a true freshman, or he's a freshman. I'm not 100% if he's a true freshman. I think he is. 15 points a game, but I give the advantage to EK there. So, yeah, I think Gonzaga's just going to be too much. It may be a little close to start, but I think they pull away down the stretch. So, I am also going to take, I think I have one more for Thursday. I'm going to be honest, just because I guess maybe because I'm excited, I would be willing to bet every single one of these fucking games. And we could talk about that at a different time. But for the sake of the show, my final play is going to be UCLA minus 4.5. I like this UCLA team a lot. I really do. Utah State's good. Do not get me wrong. But I think the offensive ability of UCLA paired with the Mick Cronin defensive gritty style of play, I got them making a run out to the Elite Eight. So I think they're going to handle business here. We're going to go 4.5 with UCLA. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm on UCLA as well.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
So that's all I have for day one.
I have one more. It's Drake. Drake plus 6.5 against Missouri. Opposing styles. Missouri offensively plays fast. Average possession length offensively ranking 55th nationally. Drake's average possession length ranks last. They're the slowest playing team in the nation. Missouri offensively is really good. 6th in schedule adjusted efficiency. Drake the strength of their team is their defense, but offensively, they aren't slouches. They're really good offensive rebounding team, 17th in the nation in offensive rebounding rate. Defensive rebound's a big weakness for Missouri. A defensive rebounding rate ranking outside the top 300. That's why we really like Drake here. Drake nearly won in the first round last year. I think this is a year that they could get it done. So we're going to take Drake plus the points, Drake plus 6.5.
Okay. Alrighty. If you could guarantee me that the players were all healthy for Texas Tech, I would probably lay the points there as well. But there's just a little too much uncertainty, so I'm going to hold off. But that's all I got for Thursday, so we'll look ahead to Friday, and we're going to do exactly what we did last year. We will be back in studio after the final game on Friday to give you our best bets for the round of 32. Historically, last year we won every single bet, and it wasn't a small amount of games. I think it was like a fucking 10-0 sweep of the day. But we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. First game on Friday, Baylor, Mississippi State. Judging by what we took in our bracket, it sounds like we are both going to be on Baylor.
Yep.
Yeah, Baylor plus 1.5 is the first play of the day. Talent. Maybe not the best. They piss me off because they don't live up to the talent, but I think I really like Edgecombe. I like what they're capable of doing. Are they going to do it? We'll see. But Coach Drew's a good coach, and it is March. So I think Baylor edges them out here. My next one is going to be I'm going to lay the 1.5 with Colorado State. I think could be walking right into a trap here. Certainly could. But with Tyrese Hunter more than likely not going to play, this Colorado State team, if they're hitting from the outside, they can beat a lot of people. I'm not going to say anybody, but they can beat a lot of people. This is a good team, and the tournament's about players. Look, Haggerty's one of those. He's in the conversation of one of those players as well from Memphis, but Nick Clifford, 19 points a game, 50% from the floor. Like I said, we just saw him go for 36 points against Boise. Since then, Nevada, Utah State, and Boise, he went 25, 26, 24. He's a walking 20-plus points. Defensively, this Memphis team is just too inconsistent for me, so I'm laying 1.5 with Colorado State. What is your second play for Friday?
It's going to be St. Mary's against Vanderbilt. Are you betting on Vanderbilt, or are you just picking them in the bracket?
No, I got them. I got 4.5 though.
Okay.
No, I think there is 3.5s.
Yeah, that's what I got. Laying 3.5 with St. Mary's.
I'll scratch it out. I'm not gonna bet it. I do have it in the bracket. I'll take.
I don't like the way Vanderbilt finished the season.
Yeah.
Right. They ended the regular season and losing. They lost in the first round of their first game of the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
They're good offensively. You mentioned it, but St. Mary's the real deal defensively. They have been for the past few years. Eighth in the nation in schedule adjusted defensive efficiency. On defense, Vanderbilt kind of has some problems, especially defending the perimeter. 337th in the nation in perimeter defense. 3-point shooting, unlike last year, not a strength for St. Mary's, but watch out for Mikey Lewis. This kid can really shoot. I'm telling you, watch out for Mikey Lewis, 6'3" freshman. He's their best 3-point shooting threat. I wouldn't be surprised if he got hot in this one.
Okay. So you're taking St. Mary's minus 3.5.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's it for me.
Okay. I am going to go. I'm going to lay, actually, I'm going to add this one right now. Let me see the best number. I'm going to take Kentucky. I'm going to see what's the best number I can get. Looks like 11.5. Yeah, I'm laying 11.5 points with Kentucky. Kentucky's been vulnerable. They've shown it's just defensively they're not as good as they should be. But offensively, I think this team is going to overwhelm Troy. I just do. So I don't think Troy wants to win the game in the 70s. I think you're going to see a Kentucky team in the 80s, high 80s or 90s. So I'm going to lay the points with Kentucky. Let me see. What do I have left? I am going to take Oklahoma plus 5.5 against UConn. We talked about it. I have Oklahoma beating UConn in that 8-9 matchup in my bracket. But so I, by default, I'm going to take them with the points. Like I said, I did try to differentiate how I'm picking my bracket versus how I'm betting. I don't think that UConn's going to be able to win by margin in this one. If they're going to win, it's going to be close. This Oklahoma team's good enough to hang around in this one. And SEC, I think the SEC is the superior conference this year. So I'm also, my last one is going to be Oregon minus 6.5 versus Liberty to close out the night. I just think this is a very one-dimensional Liberty team. You can take them out of what they want to do by just guarding the perimeter. You got Biddle down low. You got a couple guys down low, and then you've the guards with Shellstad and Bamba attacking the rim and all. I don't think that Liberty's going to be able to match up in this one. Liberty may be a popular 12-5 upset. I don't think that Oregon's the spot. I don't think Altman's the guy you want to try to target in March. So we will lay 6.5 with Oregon as the final play for day 2. That's it?
Yep.
So to recap, day 1, I am taking Louisville minus 2.5, Houston minus 28.5, UCLA minus 4.5, High Point plus 8.5, and Gonzaga minus 5.5. Day 2, we're going Baylor plus 1.5, Oklahoma plus 5.5, Oregon minus 6.5, Colorado State minus 1.5, and the final play is Kentucky minus 11.5.
We're going Louisville minus 2.5, High Points plus 8.5, Gonzaga minus 5.5, Drake plus 6.5, UCLA minus 4.5. Going to Friday, we got Baylor plus 1.5 and St. Mary's minus 3.5.
Okay. Anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Bam, do you have a best bet for day 1 or day 2? You are historically 1-0.
Yep. So Thursday, I'm taking Michigan minus 2.5 versus UC San Diego.
Okay.
And that is my one and only play.
There you go. I don't hate that because I do think it's going to be an overreaction. I think people are all over UC San Diego. So it's one of those, like, I have Michigan winning in the bracket, so why wouldn't you lay it? But it's March. So that is it for episode 216. Hit the like and subscribe button if you are still listening by this point. We appreciate you. Bracket breakdown, our best bets for day 1 and day 2. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, over the next 3 weeks, we are going to embark on a 64-team, 63-game tournament to decide the best team in college basketball, the best collegiate basketball that this country has to offer. It's the best sporting event that we have. Let the madness begin, and good luck.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this, could you? A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.